Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my player ratings from our 1-1 draw with West Brom. So David De Gea, he's going to get a 7 out of 10. David De Gea made a double save in a matter of seconds. He denied Diagne. But apart from that, had nothing to do. I knew Solskjaer was going to select David De Gea today because I said he is going to remain our number one for at least this season. As you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has warned that David De Gea, that his place is not secure in the Man United team, but he said no one's place is safe, they've got to earn their place. And Gary Neville has come out and recently said that Solskjaer must deal with the goalkeeper situation. And Gary Neville has actually said we need to get a world-class goalkeeper to replace David De Gea. Solskjaer has admitted it's becoming more and more difficult to keep Dean Henderson out of the team. I think at some point that Dean Henderson will become our number one. Like I say, David De Gea has been long servant at the club. This is his 10th season at Manchester United. Obviously got criticised the other week, reflecting on the two mistakes he made in the 3-3 draw with Everton. David De Gea effectively cost us that game. But he's made quite a few calamitous mistakes now in the last couple of years. So 7 out of 10 for him. And Wan-Bissaka, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. He wasn't brilliant today. He had a lot of the possession in the attacking third of the pitch and he got into some good crossing positions. But Wan-Bissaka couldn't really pull off a decisive cross. Victor Lindelof, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I thought he endured a poor game. Was he partly to blame for West Brom's first goal in the first 2 minutes of the game? Should West Brom's goal stood? Should it have stood? Because Diagne did have his hands over Victor Lindelof's face. And I just don't think that centre-back partnership is working out, Lindelof and Harry Maguire. I certainly prefer Eric Bay alongside Harry Maguire. But yeah, just a 5 out of 10 for Victor Lindelof. Harry Maguire, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he enjoyed a pretty good game today. Got forward well on that left-hand side. Harry Maguire had a very, very good chance right at the end. It was a good header from Harry Maguire, but he produced a very, very good save from Sam Johnstone. I think he clipped it onto the post. Obviously, we had a penalty overturned by VAR in the game. Harry Maguire had been pulled down. Harry Maguire did say after the game that he was certain it was a penalty. I think actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer disagrees with him because there was talks that Harry Maguire was offside. So yeah, a 7 out of 10 for him. Luke Shaw, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I think he enjoyed a pretty good game. Wasn't as good as he has been in recent weeks, but I still thought in the game today, Luke Shaw got forward well. Obviously, got the assist for Bruno Fernandez's equaliser. So, yeah. Fred, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Didn't show any attacking transition. I thought he was quite sloppy on the ball. So weren't too impressed with him today. Scott McTominay, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I don't think he enjoyed the best of games. Scott McTominay did have a good chance. That got cleared off the line by one of the West Brom defenders. But McTominay has had some good games this season. Obviously he scored the goal in extra time against West Ham in the FA Cup 5th round. It was a good volley. McTominay did well in the 9-0 win against Southampton. He also did well in the 1-0 win against Watford in the FA Cup 3rd round. And he did well in the 6-2 win against Leeds because he scored twice in that game and he also got an assist. Bruno Fernandez, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I thought he enjoyed a poor game today. Apart from the goal, he took his goal very, very well. It was a very, very good volley. But Bruno Fernandez, like I said, he was quite sloppy on the ball. I think he got dispossessed a few times. Probably is one of his worst games in a Man United shirt, if I'm going to be honest with you. There's been a few games where he has looked off the pace, but in most of Bruno Fernandez's games, he has looked very, very consistent. I think he did have a long-range shot as well. That was a straightforward save from Sam Johnstone. So 6 out of 10 for him. Now, Anthony Martial, he's going to get a 4 out of 10. I thought Anthony Martial was very anonymous in the game and his movement off the ball was very, very poor. Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. Martial's had chances in games this season, but he just hasn't converted them. Last season Martial was good and he was good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. He's been at the club now over 5 years. The question is, does Anthony Martial have a long-term future at Man United? Should we consider selling him in the summer transfer window? Now, Marcus Rashford, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I don't think he was too effective today. He did have some moments here and there where he did make some good runs and that. I think lately, Rashford's just been too greedy on the ball. And now I think it is time that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gives Marcus Rashford a rest. Because there has been quite a few games this season when he has been quite poor. The games he's been poor and he's got in front of goal and then his decision making's been poor, his passing's been poor and his finishing's been poor. But despite that, I still think he has improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what did I say? Did I say 5 out of 10 for I said 4 out of 10, didn't I? Sorry. Edison Cavani, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Okay, his movement maybe was good at times in the game, but he lacked chances, did Edison Cavani. And I thought it was quiet for the vast majority of the game today. So just a 5 out of 10 for Edison Cavani. But in most of Edison Cavani's games at Man United, he has been very, very good. Edison Cavani actually got handed a 2-match international ban. Earlier on this season, he got a 3-match ban for us. Reflects on the racist comment that he put on social media back in December. Don't forget Edison Cavani's current contract expires in the summer, so his future is in doubt. You know, we got him on a free transfer last summer on deadline day. He signed a one-year contract at the club with an option of a second year. But in most of Cavani's games, you know, his hold-up plays being good, his movements being good in and out of the box. He's also created chances and he's scored goals. We did bring some substitutions on in the game today. Obviously, we saw Donny van der Beek come on. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. And we saw Mason Greenwood come on in the game. And I'm going to give Mason Greenwood a 7 out of 10. He looked very, very influential when he came on, made some very good runs. Greenwood also had a fantastic chance, produced a good save from Sam Johnstone. So that is your player ratings from our 1-1 draw with West Brom. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer give his perception on the game. He says Manchester United need to play better. He says we give ourselves a tough start. But Solskjaer's come out and said we will not let Manchester City run away with the Premier League title. City are now 7 points in front of us. And I can assure now that Manchester City are going to win the Premier League. Even if we'd have won today, you know, I'd have still said the exact same thing. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made an admission after the 3-3 draw with Everton. And he said, you know, we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. But up until that admission, he wasn't mentioning the title race. He was just taking one game at a time. But I thought, you know, it wasn't the best of games today. You know, it wasn't really a good performance by Man United. Maybe we started the second half quite well. But West Brom will be certainly delighted with this draw because they was coming into this game as the underdogs. And like I said, they had some good performers. You know, Diagne, you know, he got man of the match, played very well. Conor Gallagher played well. Obviously, he got the assist for Diagne's goal. It was a good cross from Conor Gallagher. I thought Maitland-Niles played quite well. Furlong made an impact, you know, when he came on. Matis Pereira also did quite well. West Brom had no Grady Diagana because he's out with injury. But yeah, we should be beating West Brom. You know, West Brom are a very, very poor team. Could go down this season. They are sitting in the relegation zone. You know, they've only won one game at the Hawthorns this season. So that just shows how bad West Brom are. But the game at Old Trafford earlier on in the season was very, very poor. You know, we obviously won that game 1-0. It was a controversial penalty decision. But we've got a good record against West Brom, haven't we? Obviously, prior to the game today, we'd won our last 2 trips to the Hawthorns. This was the first time we was playing at the Hawthorns today since 2017. We had that very, very good game at the Hawthorns. Back in 2013, we drew 5-5, and that was Sir Alex Ferguson's last game in charge of Man United. But you've got to say now, we are out of form. We have only won 1 in our last 5 in the league. The positive is that we still haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. The last time we lost away from home in the Premier League was to Liverpool back in January 2020. Sam Allardyce, you know, he'll be very, very delighted with his team's performance. Obviously, West Brom appointed Sam Allardyce in earlier on this season to replace Slaven Bilic because obviously West Brom sacked Slaven Bilic. Obviously, there was no Eric Bailly involved today for us. I don't actually know why there was no Eric Bailly involved. because Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game that Bailly had been training and now he's available again. I certainly prefer Bailly to Lindelof. Bailly and Harry Maguire works, but Lindelof and Harry Maguire doesn't work. They don't complement each other well. But my concern about Bailly is that he's injury prone. Obviously, there was no Paul Pogba today. Paul Pogba's out with a thigh injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks. That was confirmed by Solskjaer. But Paul Pogba is a big miss. Because the vast majority of Paul Pogba's performances have been very, very good in recent months. Paul Pogba was out with an ankle injury earlier on this season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. You know, Paul Pogba could still leave Man United in the summer, but there's also a chance he'll stay at the club potentially past the summer. There is 3 clubs that want Paul Pogba, and that's Real Madrid, Juventus and PSG. It said that Juventus have approached Paul Pogba again, and reports from Italy said that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Paul Pogba. So he could go back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with them. So Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. Mino Raiola recently said that he's working on Paul Pogba's transfer quietly to avoid offence, and he refused to comment on Paul Pogba's future. And don't forget, back in December, Mino Raiola made an announcement regarding Paul Pogba, and Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig. Solskjaer said the other week though that Paul Pogba could sign a new contract, and he insisted that Paul Pogba's happy at Man United, and it says we've held talks regarding his future. He's our most expensive sign at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. This is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract on Man United until June 2022. And not so long ago, Paul Pogba's brother Matthias Pogba, give us an update on Pogba's future, and he actually advised us to sell Paul Pogba in the summer to get the money, because he said he could leave for nothing next year, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Alex Telles, he's played nowhere near as much as I expected him to. Obviously, we got Telles last summer on deadline day. Don't forget though, at one point Telles did have COVID, but Luke Shaw still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles. We got Alex Telles in a deal worth £15.4 million. But yeah, in today's game, Solskjaer didn't make like 2 changes from the 3-3 draw with Everton. And I knew Donny van der Beek wasn't going to start today, but at least he came on and he was involved. He's been struggling recently, Van der Beek. Van der Beek did start the game against West Ham in the FA Cup, and he struggled in that one. He did have some nice touches and he made some good runs. And Solskjaer's promised Donny van der Beek more game time at Man United, because he made an admission earlier on this season saying that Donny van der Beek is unhappy, with his lack of game time. But yeah, we've missed out on the chance to close the gap today. We should have beaten West Brom today. We should have beaten Everton the other week because we squandered a 2-goal lead. We was leading twice in that game. We should have won at the Emirates. We should have certainly beat Sheffield United, lost to them 2-1. We should have won at Anfield because we had 2 fantastic chances in that game. So it is very, very frustrating. I can assure almost that we're going to finish in the top 4 this season. I'm very, very sceptical that we'll finish out of the top 4 this season. And maybe some Man United fans are now Ollie out, reflecting on today's game and how we have been doing recently. I'm still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. Like I've already said, Tino, he's going to be given at least another season at Manchester United. This is his second full season at the moment. And I think in recent months and all of that, performances have improved and certain players have improved and Solskjaer's made very, very good progress at Man United. But we don't want to get back to square one because we have enjoyed bad periods under Ole. Was poor earlier on this season, was poor at the start of last season. We enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to win a trophy as Man United manager because a club of our stature needs to be winning trophies. And like I've said, Tino, the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy. The Europa League is a chance of a trophy. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. If we qualify for the Champions League this season, we probably will give Solskjaer a new contract because it recently said that we will wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. And it says we could offer him a new 2-year deal. Solskjaer's got 16 months left on his current contract. Solskjaer signed a 3-year contract with Man United when he got the job permanently back in March 2019. A lot of United fans did say that we give Solskjaer the job too soon, but we're giving the job permanently because he did very, very well as the interim manager. But we do deserve credit for sticking with him because he could have easily been sacked as Manchester United manager. But he has been Man United manager now for over 2 years. And reflecting now on his been at the club, like I've said before, he's gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. But like I've said to you, I'm still not sure if Solskjaer is the long-term manager for Man United. Obviously, time is going to tell. But he does deserve some credit, because he's improved certain players at the club. He got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. He's got us to the FA Cup quarters. We progressed to the FA Cup quarter-finals for the 7th consecutive year. Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season. He has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. He's made good signings despite our reluctance to back him regarding transfers. Solskjaer spent over £200 million at the club. Like I said, we've enjoyed quite a few good periods under him. So they are the positives. But like I've said, Tino, this year's summer transfer window is very, very important for Man United. Because we've got to make more signings. If we are to be genuine title contenders, we need to make more signings. And we've got to get the right players in at Manchester United, of course. Solskjaer obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted in as yet. And this is why I did say that the board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. But hopefully Woodward backs him in the summer because it recently said that Woodward is set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. Solskjaer did say our summer transfer plans could be affected by the coronavirus pandemic. But I still expect us to make signings, and I've already given you the 3 areas where Manchester United need to strengthen up. And there is a lot of players on our agenda. Obviously, Man United have a 5-man centre-back shortlist. I think a new centre-back is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority. But so far, Solskjaer's enjoyed 4 transfer windows at the club as permanent Man United manager. Like I said, it was a disappointing January transfer window for us because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. I think he's now part of the first team squad. I think he'll be good. He could be good assets for us. He's been doing well for the under-23s as Amad Diallo Traore. But Solskjaer did say a few times during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. We focused a lot more on the outgoings in the January transfer window rather than the incomings. We saw a few players leave in January. We saw Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We saw Tiedemann Mengi go out on loan. Facundo Palestra went out on loan. Odin Igalo said his farewells to the club. Marcus Rojo left. And obviously, Timothy Fosu-Mensah left. And I'm expecting more players to leave Man United in the summer. Our next game is Real Sociedad in the Europa League. It's the round of 32 first leg. As you all know, it's going to be played in Turin due to the travel restrictions in Spain. Won't be an easy game against Real Sociedad. Don't really follow them, to be honest with you. I think I'd like 5th or 6th in the La Liga. Their current manager is a Manuel Aguilise, or Aguilisel, if I've pronounced his name correctly. Obviously, Adnan Januzaj plays for Real Sociedad. So he'll be reuniting with Man United, I presume. They've got David Silva. I think they got him from Man City last year. They've got, obviously, Monreal in their team. I think Norman's in their team. Carlos Fernandez as well. I think the second leg at Old Trafford is the 25th of February. We're probably one of the favourites to win the Europa League. Got to the semis of it last season, lost to Sevilla. Obviously won it in 2017 under Jose Mourinho, beat Ajax in the final 2-0. And our next league game is Newcastle, and we should be winning that because Newcastle are a poor team. But like I said to you, we haven't been the same team as we was when we had Ferguson. In recent months and that Solskjaer's been winning the old Man United back, with the performances, and, we've come from behind in a lot of games this season. But like I've said so many times, no one is going to replicate Sir Alex Ferguson's legacy at the club. No one is going to, last as long as he did and all of that, and that's something we have got to accept. But like I said, it does take some managers time to settle in. Liverpool, they're in a bad vein of form at the moment. I presume that Klopp's under some kind of pressure. I'm very, very sceptical Liverpool will sack Klopp and that. And Klopp's record after his first, 28, 29 games was very, very poor. So anyway, guys, what's your thoughts on today's game? Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.